Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, it is I am the one and only Maxi here once again, and I am back for yet again for the likes of the Maxi Toys videos, as always. So ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Kirby and the Forgotten Land for the Nintendo Switch. So, last time, we've essentially did manage to able to complete done with the forms of the first half of the forms of Redgar, Forbidden Lands, and on top of all that stuff though, we also did manage to tackle through the first cup in terms of the forms of the Colosseum, which apparently we did manage to tackle through Meta Knight Cup. So today for this video is the fact that we're about to be continuing things on with this particular world and head off to Gathering of the Beasts Casual, or Cancel? I think that's what the level is called anyway, despite the fact that it has been about 2 days ago since I actually last played this. So because of this though, today's day is of course the 22nd of April today, in this case in 2022 today. So yeah, with that being said though, that as far as you probably already know, as far as what Sonic has already mentioned about this ever since in the finale part of WarioWare Twisted Let's Play, which by the way, that video has gone really long at this rate. So because obviously that he was, again, originally he's going to show off some of those extra stuff within the separate parts, but excuse me, that he's decided able to actually just to go ahead and show off the rest of the extras in one in particular part. So as a result though, yeah, I'm presuming that he's not much else to say about this for the most part. I will assuming so anyway. So yeah, with that being said though, I believe in this particular level is the fact, excuse me, I do apologize for that. So basically in this level right here is the fact that we're going to be refighting against with the forms of the previous bosses ever since in, let's just say in World 1, World 2, and no, not World 2, and also World 3 and World 5 respectively. And what do I mean by that? Well, because basically we need to be able to take those bosses down with a different condition. Well, the only exception being the forms of this particular boss fight, which is Grill Mono, just because of how the fact that he was overall pretty easy to take down if you managed to able to utilize the forms of the stronger variations of those specific Kirby abilities, as far as you guys should probably already know this at this rate. So yeah, with that being said though, is the fact that, and hopefully we're able to actually rescue quite a few more Waddle Dees to be rescued from. And I think that we're pretty much almost done with the forms of rescuing those Waddle Dees, because after that though, we pretty much expect about the fact that, well, assumingly that we can able to actually, well, finish the game for reals. So, at least assuming about the fact that if the second run through comes into play, well, we'll point it out whenever we get into it. So, yeah, I do apologize for that particular awkward commentary at this rate, because I'm sure enough that Sonic has already mentioned about the forms of how the fact that we were so excited about the fact that we finally get a chance to see some more info in terms of the forms of Sonic Origins, the actual remastered compilation game. So yeah, that's pretty awesome, all things considered. Well, despite the fact that there are some good parts here and there, but there also have some questionable choices what they managed to able to bring us into for the actual trailer itself. Well, first of all, the only thing I really loved about the forms of that particular trailer, by the way, is the fact that, much like in Sonic Mania, I really love the art style of animation, especially noticeable about the fact that, I believe what Sonic has already mentioned about this, at least ever since in yesterday though, is that Christian Whitehead is once again involved with the forms of that particular animation openings or something like that, or perhaps even maybe that's just working on the entirety of Sonic Origins entirely. So because of that though, yeah, pretty cool to be able to actually see Christian Whitehead is going to be involved once again, especially after the events of the amazing Sonic Mania after 5 years since when it first came out. So yeah, pretty awesome, all things considered. So, and as far as I'm aware, it's the fact that they did manage to bring in some new content that hopefully they'll try to bring. That is the fact that with the forms of well, as far as what Sonic has already mentioned about, they're gonna bring the classic mode, which is basically it's like the emulated original version of the game, and also they're bringing ourselves the anniversary editions of those games. So meaning that every single games will be not only on, you know, 60 frames per second at all times, I guess, but also full widescreen, which, yes, for the first time ever in Sonic 3 and Knuckles, finally get a chance to able to get the widescreen support. So yeah, about time to able to actually have that feature, especially after all these years. That most people are really begging for the forms of that particular Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles to be, as in the forms of the HD compilation games, ever since, I think the last time we had Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Sonic and Knuckles standalone, is the fact that the last time we had that in that particular compilation was technically Sonic Classic Collection for the Nintendo DS, because I'm surely, because of that though, that's relatively speaking about the fact that not only does it contain Sonic the Hedgehog 3 standalone, but also Sonic and Knuckles standalone, and even then, with the addition with the forms of Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Knuckles in there. So, well, technically it calls it for some reason Knuckles and Sonic the Hedgehog 3 for some reason, but I honestly have no idea why they managed able to bring that up. So, and also they decided able to bring in some couple of modes to the table, such as for instance with Mission Mode, which is going to be pretty fun. And especially noticeable, I get the feeling it might actually contain the ranking system, so yeah, pretty cool. And on top of all that stuff though, I really love about the fact that with the actual promotional art of, you know, Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, Metal Sonic, and Dr. Robotnik was on the actual promotional artwork, and it looks pretty amazing, especially noticeable. It's, you know, still it kind of reminds me of the forms of Sonic Mania box art, except the fact that with a different background with all that color and patterns in between. So yeah, that pretty much explains it. And I do really like the logo though, especially noticeable that we got ourselves a familiar Sonic emblem in the back, and then we obviously got the full name of Sonic Origins. So yeah, about time, especially noticeable after 11 months of this entire hiatus of able to actually finally hear about, you know what I mean, with the forms of some more info on, you know, Sonic Origins. So yeah, in fact, leave it on the comments below for the question of the day. Are you guys excited to able to actually finally get a chance to get Sonic Origins for the likes of the Xbox One and Xbox Series X or Series S for digital owners? Because obviously that's Sonic Origins is going to be a digital-only exclusive kind of game, just like new forms of how it does it in the normal version of Sonic Mania. Well, assuming if there are some physical versions of Sonic Mania every once in a while, but only in the North American markets. So because of that though, I honestly have no idea why they managed to go for digital only as opposed to both digitally and physically, but it knows what it is for the most part, I guess. But yeah, regardless of such though, and I do apologize for that particular commentary as well, just because I've got something stuck in my throat. So yeah, that might be something worth a while to able to actually mention about that. So anyway, so we've actually finished this level right here. It's actually not too hard, all things considered, especially noticeable about the fact that after all, that we're pretty much almost nearly at the end of the actual main story so far. Well, at least no matter what though, it's just the fact that the matter is though, is the fact that we've already taken down not only Gormondo, but also Silly Dillo, and even especially noticeable with Claw Rain. Well, despite the fact that I have to able to actually complete one of those missions for, you know, trying to take down Claw Rain without taking a single hit, and oh boy, it's gonna get a bit more frustrating than ever will be, but thankfully though, we've simply managed to accomplish that level, so at the very least we don't need to worry about that any longer at this rate, until whenever we meet our way to the next boss. So hopefully that might be seems the case, so yeah, that pretty much explains it. So but anyway though, yeah, let's get back into that conversation about Sonic Origins. In addition to able to coming out on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and Series S for digital players, and there's also going to be the Nintendo Switch version, which to be expected, and I think I might as well try to get the Switch version, despite the fact that I've already got Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 based off from the Sega Ages lineup, so because of that though, I wonder if it's possible I can probably able to actually get Sonic 1 and 2 again, but this time on the forms of not only the classic version, but also the Anniversary Edition, which actually features the Hidden Palace Zone. So, whenever I saw the forms of that unused level that is going to be finally bringing back on the home consoles this time, as opposed to mobile versions, I was very, very excited able to actually just to see Hidden Palace again, except the fact that it was going to be on the entire compilation game. So because of that though, yeah, I'm very excited for that. Oh yeah, the next level we're going to be hitting into right now is the Beast's Pack, or the Beast Pack's Last Stand. So this means about the fact that this will be our final instances about the fact that we can able to take those, you know, the Beast Pack as much as we can. So I just realized these are the actual enemies we face off against this whole time. So yeah, because after all though, we've already taken them down already, quite a few times, ever since in the past few levels, so we can able to expect we can able to take those guys down again. But this time around though, we're going to be much more stronger than ever before, thanks to the forms of that, again, evolving copy abilities and stuff like that, when it comes to like the upgrades and stuff like that, so... Excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, guys, because, well, let's just say until tomorrow, whenever we get into Mario Party 8 tomorrow, but because of that, though, recently, that I've somehow managed to able to no longer have COVID, which is good news, because I am now COVID negative, so that's a very good sign, especially noticeable that maybe tomorrow I can possibly able to celebrate that while trying to play. Well, potentially speaking until tomorrow, my favorite board in the entire game is going to be on its way. So, but either way though, you guys should probably already know what exactly I'm about to say. So, yeah, you probably get the idea of how this skirt turns out to be. So, well, I still got something stuck in my throat though, so that's why you're going to be essentially going to be hearing me going all kind of sound or something like that. But I'm still fine as it is, so... Yeah, because regardless of such though, there are a few times though that there might be quite a few awkward commentaries here and there when it comes to the faults of this part alone. But let's face it though, it's just the fact that what really matters to me though is the fact that I'm no longer COVID positive. So that's a excellent sign, especially noticeable about the fact that, well, hopefully I don't get that again. So at least I'm hoping so anyway, so... Anyway, so yeah, in addition to able to releasing Sonic Origins on the Switch, but it was also the forms of the PS4 and PS5. So yeah, about time to able to actually now have an exclusive Sonic game, or at least one of those Sonic games, will be listed on PS5. Well, technically, if you also want to count the Sonic Colors Ultimate and Team Sonic Racing, Sonic Mania, and Sonic Forces, because those 4 games originally on the PS4 were backwards compatibility for the PlayStation 5, so I honestly have no idea what I say for this point. Although, relatively speaking though, there's also another version that's going to be releasing for Sonic Origins, but it forms of the PC version. However, just like it informs of how it does it on most of the Kingdom Hearts games, including Sonic Colors Ultimate, it looks like that the PC version is going to be locked out behind the forms of the Epic Store once again. So, yeah, I'm not too surprised about that specific decision change, but it knows what it is when it comes to that specific acknowledgement worth noting for. So, and on top of all that stuff though is the fact that there's going to be filled to the brim with DLC, which I think that's what some people usually had a major gripe I have with the, or have major gripes we have, including me, whenever I found out at the very end of that particular trailer that it actually contains not only the standalone release, but also the Digital Deluxe Edition, which actually contains gem-packed with stuff, which I think I'll discuss onto that whenever we get onto the forms of the next board in Mario Party 8. So, because obviously that we're pretty much at the halfway point right now on the Mario Party 8 game board before we dive right into the extras in Mario Party 8. So, But either way, though, things can take some time to able to actually just try to discuss on that, though, because, I mean, relatively speaking, though, that's as far as I can usually try to explain about this. Well, I'm still excited about the game, don't get me wrong. Well, when it comes to likely, those particular versions I might consider getting, you probably already know what to expect. If you're following through our, my video game collection video, the Sonic's 30th anniversary special, back in the forms of in June last year, well, I'm gonna be basically gonna go after all 3 versions. Well, mind you, not all 6 versions actually, just because, well, I still have actually got myself my Switch, PS4, and Xbox One, so at the very least I can able to get those 3 versions, but except the other 3, which are the PC version, because it's locked behind the forms of, well, you know what I mean, with the forms of that Epic Store, and on top of that, the Xbox Series X, because obviously it's like kind of hard to get right now, and same applies to the PlayStation 5 version as well. So, with regards to everything else though, I honestly don't mind at all. So, but I'm really hoping that I'll be able to actually just to get some potentials about maybe they might try to go for physical form, but it's pretty early to say for this point because, well, for the most part, we just have to stick around with the forms of digital-only stuff, I'm afraid. So, I might be biased, but yeah, anyway. So, excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, guys. I really am. It's just the fact that sometimes if I talk too much, and then next you know, it's just the fact that my cookie throat just starts to able to interrupt me. So I do apologize for that. So anywho, yeah, let's talk about the forms of the controversial thing about the forms of Sonic Origins, which appears to be the DLC packs. Now, generally speaking, unlike let's just say Super Monkey Ball Banana Mania, that if you try to get the game digitally, either the standalone or the digital deluxe edition. If you ever get the digital deluxe edition, you get every single DLC from the get-go. Whilst if you try to able to actually get the game standalone, either physically or digitally, you don't get any DLC unless you pay extra cash for getting some DLC items, such as for instance like classic soundtrack and classic character skins, and even Sega Legends pack, and especially noticeable with the character customization packs, with the forms of additional clothings and all that stuff. Well, apparently though, that can be also applied onto Sonic Origins, so because of that though, the only packs you can able to get then, let's just say hard missions, and also there is mirror mode and 100 coin tokens you can get, and all kinds of lists I can probably think of the top of my head, but again, I'll save that conversation whenever we dive right into Mario Party 8 for my favorite board in the entire game, because, well, I should probably save that conversation during that time, so excuse me, I'm really sorry about this point, guys, because again, I really wish if I was going to be extremely better, but most of the time, my cocky throat just keeps on interrupting me, so I do apologize for that, so. Anyway, still haven't heard anything from the likes of CapKing74 ever since in his, video about what the forms of how the fact that with Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 has been, delayed officially until next year in spring 2023. But apparently for what I've heard as well, about the fact that maybe another one of those games could possibly delayed until next year as well. And that's what appears to be by the forms of God of War Ragnarok for the PS4 and PS5, which it might be possibilities though, because apparently somebody said they're not exactly ready for that game yet. So because of that though, I get a strong sense of feeling maybe that game also gets delayed, so, but we'll just see what happens during the forms of certain speculations until, God knows when. So because of that though, yeah, let's not worry about that right now, because obviously we're playing a Kirby game, of course, so yeah, everything else will be expected at this point, so. Anyway, so, oh, and also another thing as well, that you guys even remember back in the forms of on Wednesday, despite I was a little bit rough on that day, But usually, like I said before, I was a little bit mixed upon the informs of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3's early release date, which I was expecting it might actually be rushed or not, but it might be good for some fans out there, but it's not my cup of tea, personally, just because I've never actually played those games by myself, because obviously it's not my cup of tea, like I said. Well, I'm sure that usually it's my, not my interest, honestly, so, but some people are worried about the fact that Splatoon 3 might actually possibly get delayed or pushed way more earlier from, let's say, at some point in June for this year. But even then, no, since that, unfortunately, that this year's E3 has been completely cancelled completely. So, yeah, which is still kind of strange, that why is every single time when a Sonic movie came out, either the first film and the second film, that why is it always with those two films? Don't get me wrong, I enjoyed those films, don't get me wrong, but for some reason, whatever when they managed to able to hopefully try to show us E3 for those years respectively, they decided able to cancel out after the release of the films of those two films respectively. Which I have no idea why they managed to able to decide all this, but either way though, it's just a bit of confusion sometimes, I guess, but or maybe they just weren't able to prepare something big for 2023. Well, thankfully, it's nothing to do with the films of that stupid C virus thing, which I on about it ever since in the past few videos ago. But well, you probably get the idea about that. So, but I digress. So again, there's not much else you can say, because aside from the fact that, well, I was a little bit worried that Splatoon 3 might possibly get delayed if possible, but either way though, again, we'll wait on that discussion on that until whenever we get to that specific day, until God knows if Nintendo decides to able to maybe show off the specific direct for Splatoon 3, I guess, but either way though, we'll have to wait and see what happens there, so. Alright, time to do some more treasure roads, so just in case I can able to actually just to keep a track of the forms of those specific rare stones to able to collect it with, because, well, hopefully I can able to actually decide to able to upgrade my, well, my sword upgrades. So, but hopefully though, it's not going to be until for a little longer, because obviously we need to take care of the forms of the rest of those treasure roads, based off from the forms of the 6th world, the 5th world, and maybe potentially the 4th world, because I know for the fact that we are missing some, especially noticeable about the fact that I might actually get the horrible feeling about the fact that on certain levels, that I might able to actually consider this is the fact that maybe I'm actually missing something when it comes to forms of other blueprints on certain copy abilities. If I'm missing some of those, then I can probably able to look it up to see where exactly what some of the blueprints are, but hopefully we'll able to actually investigate that until maybe later on throughout the majority of the game, I guess, but still, it only depends on time, but either way though, we can able to expect this much. And also, something's worth noting for is the fact that I do apologize for that particular, you know what I mean when it comes to the forms of that particular uploading schedules at this point in time, because, well, you know, as far as what Sonic has already mentioned about this, ever since in yesterday's WarioWare Twisted finale, that basically that COVID just somehow slows us down for uploading schedules in terms of the Merxy toy so far, but again, I will stress this enough, that thank you so much for all of you for supporting for the fans of my channel, because so far we actually reach into like 511 subscribers so far, which is, you know, by far good news, because as far as this is concerned, that we're actually doing pretty alright, despite the forms of some slowdowns here and there because of the stupid COVID stuff, and also on top of all that stuff though, with all that slow processing for able to actually just try to keep up with the actual uploading schedules and stuff like that, but it knows what it is for the most part, so And also, I think my voices actually sound a little bit weirder, but I think regards to such though, it's just the fact that maybe it's probably because, for some reason in today, that I just somehow stopped coughing for some reason. Or maybe it's because maybe I just ate sweets for some reason, despite it's a bit bad for my gums and my teeth. But regardless of such though, it's just the fact that, well, what if I eat some of my sweets, then while my bad cough still evolves, it stops apparently, which I honestly have no idea what I decided able to got that from, but either way though, it knows what it is for the most part anyway, so. And also on top of all that stuff though, my room is actually really hot right now, so because of that though, well, it wasn't until whenever we get to summer though, it gets like jam-packed in heat, but either way though, if we manage to able to actually decide able to, maybe for me, for going back on to Super Mario 3D All-Stars for Super Mario Sunshine, then I can able to expect that I can probably able to tackle for that particular game on the 3D All-Stars version for you guys, but it's not going to be until likely on the 1st of June though, so. Excuse me, I'm really sorry about that. But, just, again, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What did you guys think about the Forms of the Sonic Origins trailer? Do you loved it? Or do you, found that the actual trailer of the game pretty good, despite the forms of the questionable, DLC locked out, kind of syndrome? But, I'll find out for myself about the fact that what the prices are on, depending on the forms of what regions I lived in. So, since I'm still in the UK though, so, but I honestly have no idea what the price tag is though for, between either the digital standalone version or the digital deluxe edition, which obviously, well, what's even confusing is the fact that I was expecting about the fact that with the digital deluxe edition for Sonic Origins will obviously contain every single pieces of DLC and stuff, but for some reason they just cut out 3 of them to be more specifically, which sure it's a bit incomplete and all that stuff though, but still I can't deny about the fact that I honestly have no idea why that Sega decides to able to do this route, or do this route rather, but I think potentially speaking it's just the fact that they want money. They want money! Just like what Nintendo did back in the forms of in 2021 for able to actually just to put up with the forms of the expansion pack for you know, extra amount of money, which just seems, you know, ridiculously a lot for in comparison to the standalone you know, with the forms of that normal Switch Online membership services voucher, but still, I just found that very unexcusable with all that questionable choices they put up with, but still. And what's even great is the fact that with the forms of Sonic Origins, as far as I'm pretty much expecting this, that maybe this might actually be the first opportunity that Knuckles might actually experience every single Sonic CD levels for the very first time. Well, at least he already technically experienced Stardust Speedway, technically, from Sonic Mania, but ultimately though, he ended up in the past and the present version, not the good future or the bad future versions, so yeah, pretty cool to able to actually now let Knuckles finally get a chance to able to explore around on, you know, every single levels in Sonic CD, and maybe for the Sonic CD special stages and what have you, so that'll be interesting if he able to actually decide able to glide through walls, and especially noticeable just climb up walls, and then just, well, hopefully try to find the, you know, getting rings for actually access to a special stage to get time stones, and also just finding all of these robot generators to able to automatically guarantees you to able to restore, you know, the good future as Knuckles, but we'll see what happens during that particular compilation comes out. But then again though, it's just the fact that, well, it's gonna be, I think it's gonna come out on the 23rd of June, the same exact day as Sonic the Hedgehog's 31st birthday, which is pretty cool if you ask me. But there's one problem. I can't experience the game on that day. Although, unless if I was trying to pre-order the game on the Switch version, I will be okay. But as far as the PS4 version and the Xbox One versions, nah, I can't experience those two versions yet. So, because you ever know why? Because that was the day where I will be still at Cyprus during that time. So, yeah, it's kind of unfortunate, but it knows what it is when it comes to the forms of trying to able to celebrate the game's release during the exact same time as when Sonic the Hedgehog's birthday roll around, so... But you know, I don't mind about it too much, at least I can still wait for that. Well, at least expecting, I'm still hoping that it might actually reveal like trophies or achievements, which, you know, for most any other PS4 games and PS5 games every now and then, and even Xbox One, Xbox Series X selections of games, we're still able to retain achievements and stuff like that, so... Which, that'll be, cool, especially noticeable that I'm hoping it's not likely going to be on a hard difficulty when it comes to trophies or achievements respectively, I guess, but either way, we'll have to wait and see what happens during that time when that game actually comes out, so... Ah, jeez, I keep on making any single mistakes recently because... Well, I know for the fact that I can't really tell what the forms of my jumps and what have you, but... Either way though, at least we can able to actually pass that part and then just trying to able to activate the mouthful mode in the vending machine, so we can able to expect that we can able to get the busy drinks out for able to actually get ourselves some more health pickups and what have you. So I don't think we can probably guarantee to able to complete this world in this video, but definitely in the next video for sure. Because, well... I just realized about something is the fact that I think this might actually be one of the longest worlds in the game so far. Mainly because of how the fact that I'm presuming that this is the only world so far that it does manage to able to feature for about 6 levels total. So, yeah, pretty interesting to say much for that. Oh, I know why. It's probably because of how the fact that we need to take care of the rest of the beast packs first. So just in case we can able to actually take down the real threat, whoever able to actually kidnap Elf-Villain, so you can expect that we can able to rescue him for reals, so... But again, until the next video, we definitely will be, but still we have no idea what the real culprit is for the sake of the forms of trying to able to capture that poor fella. Wow. I know for the fact that maybe King DDD might be involved in this, because as you probably guys should already notice this ever since in the 4th world, so yeah, we can able to expect this much. Ah, jeez, I'm almost gonna be dying here. But luckily though, if you somehow manage to able to... Oh jeez, that was close. And I get the strong sense of feeling that after this section, we ended up on the car segment, which I think this might actually be the last section of this level, so wish me luck, especially noticeable I only have a little amount of health left, but hopefully we will get a chance to able to actually pass this part, and then don't fall off like I just did right there. Because obviously, if you fail too many times, then you lose a bit of your health. And also, oh god, we got ice physics! I totally forgot there was actually ice physics on this part of the level. But hopefully, we should be able to make it. And after driving for that little wooden bridge, and we have made it. Although I don't think I can probably able to get the best time on this particular Treasure Road, because I was literally about 15 seconds behind, because I keep on getting hit most of the time. Even enough, that was actually the hardest target time to beat, because, well, most of the time, because you have to rely on that, you know, the star ranking difficulty and stuff like that. Well, to be expected for the most part, so... yeah, let's move on to the next 3 right here. So in this case, let's deal with the forms of Kirby's Inhale Showdown, so we can able to actually inhale the majority of the groups of enemies, and hopefully we can able to actually just to spit them out into this one mouth gulpful, or I have no idea. It has been about, you know, like I said, 2 days ago since I actually last played this after the events of that tragic week I've had from the likes of last week, because, well, last week, like I said, it was pretty crappy comparison, because, you know what I mean, I just got COVID positive during that time, but, again, I just hope that I'm probably not gonna get it ever again, because if I do, that'll be hellish for me again, so, and that was probably the prime example about the fact that I feel like 2022 so far anyway, for me anyway, felt a bit mixed bag, but either way though, we'll save that entire conversation about my final thoughts of 2022 in the future, but not now, because I think we are still pretty much guaranteed able to actually be on, I would say still on the first third of the entire year so far. So, at least as far as I'm guessing so anyway, so... Alright, so we need to be very careful not to screw this up, so... Oh, jeez. Always get hit by these things. Although, potentially speaking though, it's just the fact that it's pretty obvious because those guys are way too big to swallow, so... It's understandably so. So of course we got... not only bunkers, but also Wild Edge to take down. So hopefully we could able to use those blocks to able to swallow up, and occasional star projectile so we can able to actually just to swallow these up, and then spit it back at the forms of not only bunkers but also Wild Edge as well. So yeah, I don't think we can able to get those abilities between the hammer and the sword ability respectively, because obviously this challenge revolves around on, you know, inhaling stuff, so understandably so anyway, so... Alright, do I beat the target time on here? Yes I do, by specifically 2 seconds, so nicely done on my front. So, anyway, enough about that. And it looks like I think we're also able to do 2 more, or maybe we can probably do another quite a few of those treasure roads. So let's go for another cone challenge, so we can able to actually just to once again tear up the actual things apart. Actually, kind of think about it, we're actually going up and down right here. Well, to be more specifically, we are going down. In fact, kind of think about it, this particular challenge road does remind me of the forms of one of those levels in Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, where basically you have to use the actual pickaxe, or the super pickaxe, in order to able to actually just to dig through, or break through blocks here and there, in order to able to actually just to progress and stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of like that, except we are going to be able to take control of, you know, mouthful Kirby as in cone form, so we can able to actually dish down as many of those enemies as we could, in addition to the forms of trying to able to break for those specific blocks to able to progress, so yeah, nothing major about this, so oh jeez, that was a really close one. I'm almost gonna get myself screwed over if I somehow missed that particular pipe to able to actually just to break, but luckily we somehow made it within no frustrations whatsoever. Well, at least luckily I did manage to beat the target time by 4 seconds, so nicely done there. But again, it's just all about just bragging rights, I guess, for likely trying to able to conquer through, you know, the target times and stuff like that, so... Anyways, let's go ahead and deal with the Wild Hammer Challenge on the Treasure Road, so we can able to deal with that. And maybe, since that we've actually got enough of those rare stones that we actually did manage to found, maybe we can probably potentially will able to get our opportunities that we can now able to actually upgrade our sword copy ability into a new upgrade, which if you're falling for that particular previous part already, that basically we've already do manage to able to deal with the forms of the Ultimate Cup. Oh wait, sorry, the Meta Knight Cup. Then we do have the ability that we can now able to actually make a Meta Knight sword. So with the additional with the forms of that particular mask of Meta Knight. So and maybe adding some wings potentially as well. But either way though, we'll have to able to find out until later after we're done with this particular the treasure road first. And of course, we need to watch out for those poison water, so just in case you don't are able to get hit or poisoned by that particular, you know, poison liquid. So, to be expected at this point. So let's charge up the... Ah, oh, dang it, I just got hit. Sometimes it can be pretty easy to able to get hit by these things sometimes, or to be more specifically with certain mini bosses here and there, but luckily though, I somehow managed to able to dish them out as much as I can with a satisfying powerful hammer throw, or to be more specifically with that particular hammer attack. So, in addition to that particular bonus time, or the target time accomplished too. So I think it feels like it's going pretty fine for the most part. Well, at least it wasn't until whenever we kind of think about it though. I think we're basically just running out of those slots that we can probably expect to get. So yeah, I think that's as far as we can able to go for this point. Aside from the fact that we haven't actually access to Storm Tornado yet, but hopefully we can at some point. So yeah, let's just head back into Waddle Dee Town, and hopefully we can able to upgrade our sword copy ability into a new copy ability upgrade. So, and I think, fundamentally speaking, I think we've only down to 7 Waddle Dees left until we basically rescued every single one of those Waddle Dees throughout the whole game. So, well, at least we are getting there, folks. We are definitely getting there. So, relatively speaking, that it's usually the matter is, though, is the fact that certain levels, I will say, is going by far kind of lengthy. But regardless of anything else, though, we did manage to able to win for the levels in the quickest time if possible, despite after replay the exact same stages again to able to complete certain objectives. But that's perfectly fine by me. So, at the very least, that's something, I guess. So. Anyways, let's head over back to Winter Horns again to take on that particular search right here. And that way we're able to find the last portal in that particular Winter Horns level. Or the entire world rather. Which that's the perfect example that we did somehow manage to able to fully upgrade ourselves into Meta Knight Sword. So just in case we can able to take down, what else? Even more enemies. So yeah, what's cool about the Meta Knight Sword ability, as you can see, that it actually just managed to able to activate the forms of that pretty satisfying sword slashes effect, as you can see, and thus the actual the spin attack goes by a lot quicker and faster. So potentially speaking, that the sword ability for Meta Knights, for the sake of upgrades wise, is going to be by far the coolest copy ability we can get so far. Well, until later on though, that we can probably expect it able to stumble across the most powerful one out of the bunch. But then again, we'll get into that specific conversation until for later, so. But not now anyway, because either way though, that we're just gonna have to able to battle out as many of those enemies as I could with the, you know, spin attacks and all that stuff, and also just deal with the forms of those more, those knights right here, so we can able to actually just to go ahead and dish them out as much as we can. Well, despite the fact that I just keep on getting hit most of the time on this, as you can tell, but hopefully though, we're probably not gonna have that much troubles, I guess, so. In fact, I'm almost gonna fall, almost gonna die right here. And there it goes. So now we can get ourselves another rare stone until for later, so. And I think we'll pretty much gonna have to take a break on treasure roads for a little while, so. And luckily I did manage to beat the target time, so that's good. So, just in case able to add up some more star coins here and there, so yeah, we pretty much expect how this is gonna turn out. So I think we basically 100% for everything in terms of Winter Horns, so. Yeah, all the actual treasure roads and everything, so pretty swell I have to say. So anyway, so let's go ahead and head back on to Redgar Forbidden Lands, because obviously we're gonna have to end things off at this point right here. So join me next time for more of Let's Play of Kirby and the Forgotten Land. And that is the fact that we'll hit on to the final stage in terms of the forms of Redgar Forbidden Lands. That's what it appears to be in the presence of King. I think that's what it says anyway for this level. So I'll see you guys until on Monday. Later, fellas.